Okay, so I'm recording now. So I'll go to like different places in this folder. Maybe I'll go to like my picture folder, and inside there, this is where I want to put it. Or let's say let me leave it in my picture folder. This is where I want to put it. Then I can now say, okay, I want to create a folder for this HTML codes that I want to write. So I'll say create new folder. I can now say scale for week 4 class. Then when I create that folder, I would select the folder, right? And it will now open that folder in my VS Code, but there is nothing inside of it. As you can see, there's nothing inside. So the first thing I can do is telling me to trust this. I'll trust it. The first thing I can do is press this new file. When I press the new file, I'll type index.html, which is the first file that you create when you want to create an HTML file. The first file is index.html. And the reason is because when you want to create a website, the entry point, that's the first file that when you deploy it, that your cloud provider or anybody that you have deployed it to will look for is this file called index.html. Index kind of means the first, right? Index, right? So that's the first file that you create. Now, when you create it, you need your HTML boilerplate. So I can just type HTML, and you can see that it's giving me 3 options of the type of HTML I want to write. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
All right. So I'll pick this HTML5, HTML:5, because that's the present HTML that people write, HTML5. When I click it, it gives me this boilerplate, the doc type, the HTML lang, head, and everything. Then I can change the title to scale for week 4, right? Now, to start this thing up, to show it on my website, there are 2 ways I can do it. I can right click on it and say open with live server, right? And this live server, I've already installed it here in my extensions. So if I search for live server, this is live server. So if you see that I've already installed it, right? So that's what it is. If I say open with live server, it will open it up on a website, on a browser rather. As you can see, it's opened it up, but there's nothing inside of it, right? But if I type something now and save, you see that it's showing now, right? I don't need to now open it again. Anything I do will be showing on the website, as you can see, right? That's what live server does, right? And you can see that it's opened on port this thing. But if I want to close it, if I click close like this, if I click this thing, it closes it. And whatever I do here would not be showing on the screen. As you can see, it's not showing on the screen. And that's because I'm no longer live. If I click go live, it will open with live server again, right? That's one way to open it. Another way to open it is if I right click on this and say, where is it? Reveal in File Explorer. It will open it in File Explorer. It's opening it on my other screen, so I'll bring it up now. Yeah. So this is the index. If I press enter, it will open this on the browser. So it's saying, where do I want to open it? Chrome, I'll just press just once, and it's open it on the browser, as you can see. But now this one, let me close this. But this one, if I press this, and try to check, it will not reload. I have to reload it here for it to see. So this is the disadvantage of this other process. So the best way to do it at the beginning when you're just doing HTML is to use live server. So let me go back to open with live server. So it will open it on the screen. So you see that it's there already. If I put T, the T will show, as you can see. Yeah. So now the reason why it's just showing without me doing any other thing is if I come to here, you'll see this thing auto save. If I remove this auto save now and I press U, the U will not show. The reason is because I've not saved the file, and that's why there's this ball here, this white ball. So if I press Control S, or if I press File and Save, which is Control S, as you can see, it will reload and it will put the U there. So, but to avoid pressing Control S every time you want to save, just do auto save, and the thing will be saving for you anytime you press something. Just be seeing the screen, the way the screen is reloading. Every time I press something, the screen is just reloading. I don't need to press Control S. That's another thing that you should do if you've not done it so far. Now, we know about tags. I'm just going to press this. We know about tags, the different type of tags. H1 header tag, and there's H2, H3, H4, H5. This H2. So let me just bring this to this side of the screen. So you'll be seeing it on the screen. H2. Now, if I say H3, it will reduce again, as you can see. So it's like that up to H6. But I'll return it back to H1. All right, so it's now very big. Now, these are paragraph tags. Then there are other type of tags like image tags that will show an image. So let me just get an image. Let me get an image. I'll put the image inside a folder. So let's do this. We'll create a folder. I'll call that folder image folder. Then we open that folder in our file explorer. So inside this folder, I will now put an image here. So let me look for an image to put. Let me download one image. Download image. So let me download this image. Save image as. So where do I want to save it? I want to save it inside picture, then go to scale port with 4, then go to image. I'll save it inside here and save. So now it's saved, and you see it here inside so this is a download, right? So now I'll minimize this. If I go inside image, I'll see that image that I just downloaded, image.download.jpg. So I can now look for that image by doing um, image slash downloads.jpg. Can you see the image is changed, right? Then I can also put an alternate this thing. I'll say road with trees. Now this road with trees will show if this image is faulty. So if I do like this and remove this N, the image will be faulty. You will now see road with trees, right? So that's what this alternate does, road with trees. Then if I put it back, it will show the image itself. Then there are other attributes that you can add, like width, and say 100 pixels, and it will show you that size. If I say 1000 pixels, you see, that's the width. Then if I say 400 pixels, yes, then there's another one called height, and I can call it, let's say 600 pixels. Can you see? It's distorted. Then instead of just specifying the pixels, I can say auto, and you just use the automatic size. This is the automatic size. You see how clear it is now? Very clear, right? But if I increase it now to, let's say 400 pixels, let me increase the size of my code so that you are seeing it well. If I increase it to 400, you see that it's no longer clear because it's not the automatic size. So let me go back to auto size and increase this guy, or so that you can see it. Right? So are we understanding it the way it's going?
Yes, sir.
All right. So if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm just trying to do a recap of everything that we've taught from week 1 to week 3. Now there are other stuff like let me see, link, anchor tags, right? So what anchor tag does is when you click the distance, you see all these ones now, I cannot click it. I cannot click, even if I click it, it's just going to highlight. But when you click this one, it's going to take you to Scaleforth website. Just watch. So it's trying to get to Scaleforth website. And to do that, you need something called an anchor tag, open and closing anchor tab with the text. You see this visit Scaleforth is the text in the middle. Oh, the reason why it's not going is because I put the wrong URL. This .org. So let me go back. Right. So the text is what will be showing, what will be visible. Then the link will be under this href here, href attribute, the link that you want to go to. So as you can see, it will now take you to Scaleforth website. Why is it still going to .com? Hold on. Let me reload this screen and see .org. Great. So it's taking you to Scaleforth website immediately, as you can see. So that's what the anchor tag does. Then if I don't want it to reload on this same page, there's something called targets, then underscore blank, which means I want it to open on a blank page. So if I click on it now, okay, I know what's wrong. Because I went to another page, our reloader is not working fine. So let me just close it and open it again. So our live server is no longer working because of that. So but now it will go to the blank page. Wait. Oh, okay. I know what's wrong. It's not the reloader. If you notice, you see that this target has minus before the equal sign. That's why it's not working. So you see, with coding, sometimes a little issue can cause your problem, but you just need to look at the code to see what's the issue. Like if I do this now, I put a quote here, you see that this picture will disappear. Picture is not disappearing. Hold on. The picture is actually working. Okay. Sorry, I put it in the wrong place. This is the image I want to affect. So I put this quote here. You see that the picture is disappearing because of this single quote that I added, right? So you need to also look at your code. And sometimes if you're using VS Code, it will show you where the error is by showing you this red, this thing, right? So you see that it's no longer red. If I put it here too, you see that this one now is red too. So it show you that, that place, there's an error there, right? So now when I click on this, it will open on a new page. You can see my main page, but you open it on a new page. That's what this target blank does. There are other options for this target, right? But you can see parent, self, top, right? So this parent probably means the same page. Let's try it and see. And then let's reload this and press. You see the same page, right? The same thing with self also, but you can research on it to find out what they all do. So this is just a review class. Now, other tags, there are so many tags, but I'm going to describe other tags like table tag. Let me just use this. So just pasting it. You can see that it creates a table, right? And shows the header, which is there, an activity, then the body, right? You can style this table tag to look like a table actually. Let me see if I can do that. All right. So we gave it a border of 1, padding of 10. Padding means the space between the content and the box. So if I reduce this padding to 5, you see that the space will reduce, the space between the content and the box. Cell spacing of 0, if I add 1, you see what it will happen. You can see the space between the cell, right? Then margin top of 20, that's the space between here and the top. But I will explain all of this when we get to CSS in a bit. See that it's changing, right? So, but the focus now is on HTML, which is table. So this is a table tab. You need the table, you need TR, which means the row. A row is from year to year, year to year. That's one row. This is another row. This is another row. Now, table header, which means one column in the row, right? Another column. Then there's also table data, which means so the header is thicker than the data, as you can see. Anyone that has TH will be thicker than the one that has TD. So if I change this TD to TH, you see that this two will change. This Monday will change because that's the only one I did. So if you have a table that looks like the one wants to look like this now, let me put it this way. Serial number, right? So let me do it like this. So you want this place to have serial number and the serial number should be T. Then you can do it like this. So here you can now do TH. Oh, sorry, make mistake. 1, TH2, TH3, TH4. So as you can see now, then there's one more TH5, right? The reason why it seems like I'm not typing all of these things is because I'm using something called autocomplete, which I don't want to advise you people to use for now, because right now I want you to type everything. The more you type it, the more you remember. I already know what's supposed to be there. That's why I am just using autocomplete. But I want you all to type it so that you'll be able to remember, right? So now serial number, let me reduce this so I take less space. So this is it. You see that this place is thick, this place is thick, but this place is lighter because this table data TD, not TH. So that's another one for you. Then there is list, ordered list and unordered list. So I'm just going to leave this ordered list, then unordered list. Yeah. So this is just an example. As you can see, this one OL means ordered list, while UL means unordered list. And you can see the difference. What's the difference? Can someone just tell me what's the difference? Let me know that you people are following me.
The first one is making use of number, and the second one is making use of dot.
That's correct. The first one is making use of numbers. The second one is making use of characters. You understand? With styles, you can now change those characters to other things. With CSS, you can change those characters to other things. Let me see if there's a list on scale plots and see what they look like. Let me see. I'm coming, looking for a list. Okay, so this is a list, and you can see how they styled it. You understand? See how we styled it here, right? Then, for praise, this is another list. You can see that it has icons. You understand? So with styles, you can now change some of these lists to look, see another list here. These are have check marks. Understand? So the fact that this one is looking like dot 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 does not mean that it can only look like dot dot dot. You can always change it with CSS later on. So maybe use check marks, use some other things. You understand? So that's what list looks like. Let me even show you to be sure that you're sure that it's a list. Let me show you the code. Let me use this one. So if you notice, see now, see UL on ordered list, then LI, 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 as you can see. The same way our code is UL, LI, 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 LI. It has some other styling things inside, but then that's what it looks like. So if I click on LI, let me see if we can check some of the styles. Okay, I can't find it here in the code, but yeah, that's just how on ordered list works. So that's that. There's song, there's video tags, then there's semantic HTML like div, that's to divide a section. Then there is forms. There's forms. Let me do like a get form, and let's put some things inside of it. And the form will look like this. As you can see, collect name, and this collects email. You understand? And submit button. You can also add other things to the form. Let's say we want to add input, checkbox, and add input checkbox. Put a label for it. Um, call it what? Just checkbox. Let me just call it checkbox. Then we can put label for radio, input radio, label for select, input for select, label for text area, input for text area, label for file. So I'm just putting like all the different options so that we'll see label for password, input password, then hidden does not matter. Looking for image, type image, uh, let me put input, let me put color, um, let me put date, input date time. All right, so now let's see all of these things, guys. So radio, they explained it to you. Radio, you can select more than one. I didn't put more than one, so you can see it. Then, sorry, checkbox, this checkbox. Then this is radio. For radio, you can only select one. Let me try and put that. Yeah. Then put the same name, gender, gender. So you can only select one, as you can see, it's switching, right? But for checkbox, you can select more than one. Let me put three and call it age. Let me just put something. Doesn't matter. You don't need age for checkbox, right? But let me just put three. You can see that even if the three of them they are the same, you can select all three. But already you can only select one. Now select text select this select option. That is, where is it? This select option here. Yeah. Where you have the select, you can go through a drop down list of different options. I can put more, just put more, and it will reflect there, and you just see option 1, 2, 3, option 1, 2, 3, option 1, 2, 3, basically, right, inside the drop down. Now, let me return it back. Now, for text area, which is this one, yeah, that's this one, it gives you a big box. You see the other ones, they're just one small box. But text area gives you a big box to type so many things into it. Just keep typing, and it just keeps going and going and going. Right? You can also adjust it like this, understand? So, but then most times they style it so that it's fixed and cannot be adjusted, understand? Now, file, this one is what they use if you want to upload something. Like when you're trying to submit your assignment, you want to upload something, they use this file. So you click on it. Password, this is password. Hold on, where's the password? Sorry, where's the password? Okay, this is password. Just hide whatever you're typing automatically. Then this image. So when you click on image, oh, I clicked submit. Where's the image? Okay, the image is not working. Then this is color. If you want to pick color, you understand? So for all those things that where you want to edit your emoji and stuff like this is the input field that they use, color. Then finally, date time. Date time accepts date time for let me see, the submit button. I didn't arrange it properly, but date time, input type date time. Let me see something. Let me delete everything except for date time. Where is that submit button? Yeah. Okay. 2025. Let me change it to this. Hold on. This is what it's supposed to look like actually. So it's now showing me something else. So this is what dates looks like. Right? You can pick dates and it just picks it for you. So there are so many others you can check because if I type input now, you see that there are so many others, as you can see. There's a search one, there's URL, there's so many others, right? So that's input field for you. Someone,
So,
do you want to ask a question? Go ahead.
um, in I still don't understand what that get and post actually work for.
Okay.
That
Yeah,
method, get and
yeah.
post.
So the truth is, for now, you don't need to know it, right? Right. But then again, let me show you something. API endpoints for testing. Let me show you something. Okay, good. Right. So if you notice now, as a front-end developer, you are able to build this front end. Very good. But then what if you have a what's it called? You have to build something like this google.com where this is an input field. This is a text input field. It collects text where I have to now do API testing and then it does all of this, right? Let me go back to google.com. If I have to build this, it's simple. I can build this. I can put Gmail here, obviously, this Google here, this input field, all of these other things. I can do it, right? But then I now want to do search for this, right? This is a form. Now let's even see it. Let's see the code. This is a form, input field coming. Okay, so they didn't put this ID input of type search. Okay, this type search. Okay, so they didn't wrap this in a form, but this is an input field, right? Now, what happens at the end of the day when the when you type this and press enter? I'll show you what happens in the network tab. So this is the network tab. If I press enter now, you see that it calls this search question mark. Where is it? Hold on. It calls so many other things, right? But the first thing that it calls is this search question mark. Yeah. And that's it. Yeah, so and yeah, so. But let's open it up. Let's bring it outside. Don't be confused. Just hold on. Now this search question mark, it says request method is what? Get, Abby? Are you following?
Yes, I'm following. I'm following.
Yeah, request method is get. Then it gives you a response. The response is not very readable, but it gives you a response, right? Now, in a situation like this where they give you another URL and they say this endpoint is post. Now, this is what it looks like. Um, Hold on. I'm trying to do it in a way that you people understand. Let me bring my paint in here. So for something like Google to work, you need your website. Oh, sorry. You need your website, which I'm going to use as W, and you need something called a server, which I'll put as S. Now, this server is the backend that people don't see. What they see is your website, which you have built as a front-end person. But sometimes you need to communicate to the backend to get some things done. Now, when you do a GET request, something called a GET request, you send that request to the server. The server sends you a response after checking maybe a database. After checking a database, right? That's what GET request does. It sends you a request. You send the server a request. Oh gosh, I can't type with this thing. That's a request, sha. Request. I'm going to put arrow Q as request. Right? The server sends you a response, which I'm going to put as arrow P. That's a response. But that's after checking a database. That's a GET request. But if it's a post request, most times a post request means you are sending information to the server to either store in the database or process for you, right? So a post request is like I'm filling a form and I want the server, like maybe I want to log in now. If I do a post request, you send the information with that form to the server. The server will process it and maybe store it or do something with it. So the post request is sending information to the server that the server will either store in the database or use to do something. A GET request, the purpose of a GET request is mostly to receive information from the server. Do you understand?
I not so understanding. But I checked something. I was trying to like make research on it.
Yeah.
I checked something, and one thing I saw was that the person said that the difference between that get and post is that under your URL HTML text or URL code that shows up when you search something, that it will show you that get is not safer than the post, because that get displays all your input, all those things that you put in your form, like your username, your name, and maybe possibly your password. But that post, it does not write anything, it just hides all your details in the web page, something like that. But I still
Yeah.
did not understand it. That's why I was still asking.
Okay. Hold on. Um, as for that security part that the person is talking about, that, oh, this guest will show you everything on the web page. So it means that if I send this GET request, you'll see it on the URL, right? Let me see. Hold on. Let me remove this and now do this. Can you see? Can you see it on URL?
Yes, I can see it.
Yeah, so that's what they mean by it's not secure. Because if I switch it to a post and do the same thing, let me reload. Let me go back and reload. Go back again. Let me remove all these things. Now, if I do this post and do this and do this and submit, you can see that it's not showing, guys. But if I switch it to a get and submit, it will show on the URL. That's what that person is saying. Do you understand this part?
I understand that part, but
Yeah, so it's saying that this is not secure because everything that you are doing, it will be showing on the URL, which is what you'll be sending over the internet. So it's not secure. That you should use the post because the post will not show it on the URL to hide it. That's one thing. Now, your next question, I'm listening.
okay. So if post is more secure than get, then why is it that Google use get instead of post?
Okay. Now, That's now that one is different. That get that Google used is the one I was explaining, and it's different from this get here, right? That's why I said sometimes you see that some people do not use. Let me go back. Some people do not use. Let me go to elements. They don't use forms. Where is it? There's the input. Okay, we've changed page. Let me go back to the beginning. Yeah, so you see that there's no form around here. They didn't wrap it with a form tag. So they didn't use the form. They didn't even use label. They only use this input field, right? That's the only thing they use, input field. And their input is of type search, right? Now, they use JavaScript to get the thing that is sent from this input field, and then they send that request through the back of their app so that you will not see what is happening. I don't know if you understand that part. So they didn't use this get. The get that I am explaining is quite different from this get. The get I am explaining is when you now talk about APIs. In API, there's something called, I don't want to go deep into it, but there's something called CRUD, which means create, read, update, delete. Now, create, read, update, delete. Or in terms of programming, create is post, read is get, update is either put or patch. Oh, sorry. Put or patch. Then delete is delete. Right? Now, this thing that I just explained, which is this post, and if you notice here, this one is get, right? Because if I carry this URL and put it on a page, I can just use it to get some things. You can see I was able to get some things, right? This is a get. It's not asking me to give it anything. It's just giving me information. So I'm just getting, right? But if I want a post, I cannot just carry a post URL and put it on my URL. I have to go through a specific method to do it. You understand? Now, I'll come back to all of that now. Then there's post, then there's put. Put is, I have something in the database, but I want to update it or patch. I have something in the database, I want to update it. Then delete it. I have something in the database, I want to delete it. These are the 4 different methods that happens in the backend or API. Now, as a front end, you are the person that will tell the backend that, I want to do a post request. The backend will say, okay, I'll create an API for you to be able to do it like this. I want to do a get because I want to get this things from you. The backend will say, okay, I'll create a get API for you that will give you something like this and you use it. Don't worry about this. We'll explain it later. Then during maybe JavaScript. Then I want to update. Backend will say, okay, I'll do an update method for you, then you use it. I want to delete. Backend will say, I'll do a delete method for you, then you use it. So this is what that get and post is. Normally, we don't even really use this method when creating a form. You understand? Sometimes we don't use it. Sometimes we just use JavaScript and say, once I click this submit button, collect everything inside this form and do it this way. But sometimes they use it. So but I'll show you the 2 situations later on, or either myself or the other developer will show you the 2 situations later on how to use those things. But you can see, I can say, oh, I want to post to this endpoint and use post and use this style. But then sometimes I can say, no, I don't want to use that style. I don't want to use that post style. I want to just submit it with this submit, then get this name and this email and use it in the backend. Do we understand?
Somehow, to an extent, yes.
Don't worry. When we start doing it, you will understand it better. You don't need to understand it now because right now you're just learning HTML and CSS. When we get to JavaScript, you will now see how we are using it and you will now see how they are working. I don't know if you understand.
Okay, sir.
All right. And we've spent almost 1 hour talking about HTML. So let's now jump into CSS a bit. So we talked about padding and margin, Abi. That's the question you asked.
Yes, sir.
All right, good. So for CSS, there are three types. I hope, Christian, I hope you're following.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for CSS, there are three types. There's inline, like this one. This is an inline CSS, right? Then there's internal CSS, which is the one that you do inside your header, like this, and say H1 should be this color and should be aligned to the center. You can see it changed, right? The paragraph should be this font and aligned in the center, right? So this is internal CSS. Then this is inline CSS. Let me do something about inline CSS. Hold on. What do I style? Okay, let me style this first paragraph and say style, and to background color of, let me use this, right? Good. So that's the different types of CSS. But now in a situation where I want to talk about border, right? Let me use the H1. I want to talk about padding and margin. I can just create a border. Let me create a border. Let me border color. Let me give it this style. And it's not showing because I'm not giving it a border size. Border style solid. Good. Okay. So instead of this hashtag, do you guys understand this hashtag, this RGB value or X code? I can just use normal color. I can just say green and use green here. It will work. But I can also use something called X code, which should be hash. Let me just do this. Let me do this, right? So, but X code allows for you to choose just about any type of color like this. If I say, let me pick blue, let me pick yellow. Can you see? Just changing. Let me pick pink or purple. As you can see, that's what Xcode does. It gives you that freeness to do this. But let me just go back to this because the focus is on padding and margin. Uh, you know what? You know what? Let me do something. Let me put a div around here. Div header. Uh, let me put this inside here. Okay. So what happened? Oh, okay, it's up here. So now let me do header and then put its own styles. So so this wasn't showing because it's a class, right? So I have to put a period in front of it. When it's a tag like div, I don't need to put a period or H1 or P. But when it's a class, I have to put a full stop in front of it. Then when it's a ID, when it's an ID, I want to put ID of test header. Let me show you this one now. If I say, can I do test header, it will disappear because for ID, I'll use hashtag. So it's working now, right? So those are the three ways of calling a property to style them. Okay, Now, so let me go to just class. Right, so it's working fine now. So you see that I have a padding of 20%. What padding does is between the border, let me put border here. Border style, let me put double to show you the different border. Then border color, light blue. Okay. So that is light blue. Let me use blue so that it will be shown. Okay, good. So between the what's it called? This border and this content is where this padding is going to reflect. So if I reduce the padding now, you see that it will reduce this size. Can you see it has reduced this size, basically? Now, this H1, I can put a padding inside this H1 here and say padding of, of 50 px. And you can you see it has increased the padding inside the box. But I can change it to margin and you see where it will put it. It puts it outside the box. So padding is inside the border of that box, right? Inside the border. So if we have, let me go to paint again. So we have a box and we have content. Padding is everywhere around here before the border. That's padding. Then margin is everywhere outside the border, basically. So that means that this scale force, that's this H1, its margin is the same as the padding of the header, right? Because outside this H1 is the inside of this header. So if I change this padding now, if I remove it, you see that this place will reduce. Can you see? If I remove this margin as well, this place would reduce, right? So now all of this is now the same as 0 px. Can you see? The same as 0 px padding and margin, right? So you now see that the border of the scale force is on the same line with the border of the div, right? But if I say 1 px on the padding of the div, you see that I have now reduced inside. Can you see? So that's what it looks like, what the difference between padding and margin. Do you understand?
No, I not still understand you.
Okay. Okay. What's the another way I can explain it? Okay. Hold on. Mm, let me make it 10. I'll make this 10. Good. So let me remove this one. Let's focus on the header, right? On the header. Now, so what did I add here? What is this space here? Is it padding or margin? For the header, this is the header. This, okay, you know what? Uh, let me make the background of this background color white. Now, make the background color of this red. So I can now say something. Now, this red that you are seeing is the inside of this header. That's this div. is the inside. That's so every space you can imagine around here is this red. Now this white is the inside of this H1. That's every space you can imagine around here. That's the white, right? Now say if I put padding on this div, that's this header, which is what I did here. This header, I put padding, right? It will reflect on the red, right? So let me remove it and you see that the red will disappear. Can you see it? Are you guys there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good. So the red has disappeared because the padding is the inside. Let me put it back now. But if I say, okay, I want to instead work on the outside, work on the outside. So that means that I can change this to margin. Can you see? The margin is now the outside. You can see that the space here reduced, right? If I put more, you see that the space will reduce more. Can you see? And it's pushing this space down. The reason why it's not pushing up is because that there's nothing up here. But you see that it's pushing this one down and it's pushing this one outside and this one outside. If I do again, change to 60, it will push again. Can you see? If I change it back to 0, it went back to the beginning. Can you see? Right? So margin is outside, while padding is inside. Can you see it? Are you following?
Yes, I'm following.
Good. Now that's for the header. So on the header, I want to put now small, just small padding, which is going to be on the inside. So now you see the red, small, just small. Now let's go to the H1 because here I have put 10px inside, 10px padding. So that means the space between the H1 and the H1 and this div is 10px. Now I want to put space between this H1 and this div, but I want to put it on the H1, right? So that means I want to put another space here, but it's on the H1 I want to put the style. What would I put? Would I put padding or margin?
Please come again. Ask the question again.
I want to put another space. I already put 10 pixel of padding on the header, which is going to be a space between this border and this border. But I put it on the header, which means padding. But now I want to put it on the, I want to put another space on the H1, right? To be space between the, that means I want to increase this red size, right? To be space between this inside border and the outside border, but I want to put it on the H1. What will I put, margin or padding?
Margin.
Good, good. So if I put this margin now, I put 10 pixels. You see that the red would increase again. So just look at it like anything inside, you want to put space inside a box, use padding. You want to put space outside the box, use margin. So now outside this H1, this box is the ending of the H1. This box here is the ending of the H1. So outside is margin. But if I want to put inside where we have this white, let me put padding now inside. 10ps. You see, inside the box is padding, but outside the box is margin. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. So, like this now, as it is, the head, that header, I want to understand something. That header, what's the point of that header itself? Because we already know H1 is the header. So this red box now, what's the point of the red box?
So the red box is just for me to show you the difference between one where one container stops and where another one starts. But then it's because I use header. Let me just say top. Let me just call it top and call it stop here. I can change it to anything because it's a class. I can change the class to anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So the
that
H1
means,
is the header, but the issue is that I'm using div to differentiate. And div is like, it's called division. So I can divide different sections of my code with a div. I can now move all of this inside here and call it, I can give it a style and call it content. You understand? Do you understand?
yes, sir.
All right. Do you have any other question? Christian, do you have any question?
No, sir.
Okay. Ooh, we've used almost the whole class to do that recap. Let me see. So you now talked about CSS position, static and absolute. Does that mean that you understand flex and grid?
So, I know we not get what you said that last time, sir.
I said, does that mean you understand flex and grid?
No, we don't understand it too.
Because you asked about, so you left. Now there are four things that was supposed to touch today: Flexbox, grid, CSS grid, CSS positioning, and responsive design. But you left all these other ones and you say you didn't understand CSS position. So I thought maybe that means that you understand Flexbox. So what we'll do is we'll take it a bit at a time because we've spent so many times doing that stuff. We'll take it a bit at a time. We'll work on Flexbox. We'll work on Flexbox today and try to understand Flexbox totally. So our next class will now do grid and the rest of them. Do you understand? I don't know if you get.
Okay, it's fine, sir.
All right, so let's focus on Flexbox today. Then we'll now show example because I did different types of examples on Flexbox and this is another example. I did different types of examples, so we'll just discuss on them and then go back to the beginning. Let me leave it like this. Okay, so for Flexbox, what I did was I already created like some code so that we'll see it. Because when you see it, you will know it. You understand? When you see it, you're going to know it, right? So I created some code. These are just normal code like H1, which is this CSS layout basics, um, anchor tag, which leads us to the first page, this page one, this page two. So sometimes you can use this anchor tag to switch between HTML files that you've created. So if I click on go to first page, it will go to page one here, which is this one. If I click on go to second page, to go to page two, which is this page two. But click on back to basics to go to index, this index. So that's anchor tab. Now this is a section, this is semantic HTML. Instead of div, we use section, right? So sometimes our pages have sections, right? Then this header two, which is flexbox, right? Then paragraph, which is this. Then div, which is to divide this place. You can see this first border is div, the example div. Then this second border is the flex container, which is the second one there, contains the flex. Then now have different divs inside, which is the flex item. This is flex one, which is this first div. Then flex two, then flex three, which is this one, right? Then paragraph and strong semantic HTML and code, right? Which is this key properties and the rest of the stuff. So I'll send you people this file to play around with it, right? But this is what it looks like. Now, this is just the HTML, right? This is the part that we're focusing on, which is this first part. This first part. So now, what is Flexbox? It says Flexbox is one-dimensional layout for distributing space along a single axis. One-dimensional, just one, like one space along a single axis from left to right, right? Or from top to down, basically. That's what Flexbox is. So it makes it easy for you to size your stuff, your code, your code that you're coding, right? So if I size it, can you see the way it's sizing? So it's just following the size of the screen until it gets to small ones. Let me do it like this, right? And open something called, so this thing I've been opening since, it's called developer tools. Let me show you how to open it on your system. I don't know if they've shown you before. You click on this menu stuff, you go to more tools, and you go to developer tools. It will just open this thing. Now this developer tool shows you your code, right? I can use this arrow to just go around the page to look at the code and see what the code is. You can see this control your element. Let me even go to this one. Right. You see this P strong code, everything here is the same as what we have here. P strong code like this, as you can see. It's the same, right? So you just use the code, basically. Now, the reason why I even open this developer tool is that you can also look at your website on different views. Like I can say, oh, if I click on this mobile and laptop now, it will switch between mobile and laptop. So you can look at it, you can look at your website on different type of phones. Like if I say I want to use iPhone 12 Pro, right? So this is the size of an iPhone 12 Pro. It's now opening the website like as if I'm opening it on an iPhone 12 Pro, right? You see the website that was very big before, it's now small. If I say I want to open it on iPad mini, this is what it will look like on an iPad mini. If I say I want to open it on, let me see. There are other phones, iPhone 14 Pro Max, yeah. There are other phones, there are Samsungs, where's that Samsung? Galaxy Z Fold 5. Then you can also edit to add more phones. See, Galaxy Note 3, Nexus. You can add more phones, you understand? Basically. So now, but what I want to show you is I'll put it on responsive so I can drag it up and down and see how this Flexbox is just moving with the screen. That's so focus. You know what? In fact, let me comment out all these other ones. Oh, let me comment out all these other ones so that we will not they won't be disturbing us. Okay, good. So now we only have the Flexbox. So you see how the Flexbox will be moving with the screen. See? So it makes it easy for you to now put things on your screen that would adapt to any laptop, any phone, anything at all, right? So how do you do this? How do you do it? Now, after creating all of the HTML, um, let's ignore this body and all of these other things. That's all this style. We know about font family already. It just shows us how the font would look like. Padding, max with all these other things, right? Now let's go to Flexbox example, right? So we know about all of these other ones too, right? Hold on, I'm trying to. So this example, this example. So this example is where it started from. right? This example just shows this background of this. I can change the background to show you. So that's the example, but I'll take it back. Then padding of 20, I can change it to 70. So you see that's for the example, right? But that does not affect the Flexbox at all. The part that affects the Flexbox is this part that we call flex container, right? So this first div here. So the flex items that you have, all of them must be inside one container, right? So the container might be a div, might be a section, but most people use div, right? And we can call it flex container, or we can call it something else. It doesn't have to be flex container. So in this case, what I will do is I will change the name so that it doesn't confuse you. I'll call it change it that it has scattered now. I'll call it my items, right? Now, after calling my items, I'll go up here to the style and change flex container to my dash items. So to pick up back. Good. Now this flex item, I can also change it to my item. So the first one is my items. You can see that it has scattered, right? This the inside now is my item. That's my single item. Right? So I'll just change it, change all of them to my item. The first one I picked, my item. Second one I picked, my item. Third one I picked. But it's not just by naming it my item that it will pick. No. What would make it pick is the style. Now the style is, let me remove everything here and let's go from the beginning. Everything has been removed, right? So the first thing we need to do is call display flex, right? So display all these items. Normally they are just like text now. They are not looking fine again. Display all these items as flex. So there are different type of display. Let's type it out. Display. Then there is block. There's display block, display content, flexbox, flow route, grid, inline, all of these other type of display, right? But the popular ones are flex, grid, and block, right? So I'm going to use flex now, and it has now displayed as flex, right? So now the next thing I want to do is let me just style the item so that the item will look good, right? I want to give it a background of this. So now we have the background. I want to give the text a color of white. That's the text. So I've colored the text white. So I want to give it a padding. Now the padding will do what? Can someone tell me what the padding will do?
It's going to space the background color from the text.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's going to put a space in between this. So I give it a padding of 15, this thing. Then text align center is just going to centralize the whole text, but it doesn't matter. Now flex one. So you can see that it has aligned it side by side, right? But before we do flex one, let me just leave this part now. Now I want to do a gap. So you see that they are all joined. I want to do a gap, sorry, a gap of maybe, let's start from 5 px to put a space in between all of them, as you can see. So now let's increase it to 10 px, right? Then let me just give this part a background. Background does not affect the flex, but just to make it beautiful. Good, right? So you see that it's now on the this thing, but let me give it a padding. Right, so space this. Now you see that it's just at the beginning, but before it was getting to the end. So what's happening? Like, why is it just at the beginning? If I move it around, what will happen? It's just still at the beginning. Why is it not changing? Still at the beginning. So let me just leave this in the middle for now. All right. So the reason why it's just at the beginning is we're missing a few things. One of them is I could say justify um, items and center. Sorry, I think it's align items I need. Let me see. Align items center. What's happening? Hold on. Oh, okay, okay, wait. I think I'm using align items center. Wait, sorry, it's not working. Items, my items. This. Okay. You know what? Let me use. Let me use the developer tool. Let's just play around the trick on the developer tool. Okay. So this is the style here. So align content, align items, justify content. So it was justify content. That did not work previously. So you can see that it's now moving from side to side, right? So I'm just playing around with different things to show you how it's going to be moving from side to side. So if I wanted to start, let's say from the left, so I'll go to left, right? As you can see on the screen, I'll go to left. If I wanted to start from the right, I go to right. If I want to start from the mid, if I want to stay in the middle, I stay in center, right? If I want, let me see, space in between, right? So there should be space at the beginning, yeah, and space at the end. Do space around. If I want no space at the beginning and no space at the end, but space in the middle, do space between. If I want space to be even about around all of them, I do space evenly. So the same space is around everything, basically, right? So then start and the rest of this other thing. So then there's also justify items. Uh, it's used for something I can't remember right now, but just give me a second. But then remember the other time uh when it was like it filled the whole screen, we used flex one for it, and then it filled the whole screen. So just doing flex one, it fill the whole screen. You can just stay in one section, and that's another thing that you can do. Now, um, there's so I can also do it in such a way that instead of going horizontally to stay vertically, so I'll do flex direction. So row is this. Let me do it on the developer tool so that we see it move around. So flex direction, column, see column now on top of each other, right? Column reverse will now take it from down to up. So flex 3 will now be on the top, flex 2, flex 1. Then row, flex 1, 2, 3. Then row reverse, flex 3, 2, 1. Then just different types of the direction, right? But if you not put the direction, it will pick um row. Sorry, let me remove this one. Do not pick direction, it will pick the row as the direction, basically. But you can also specify column so that it stays on top of each other. Do you have any questions so far?
No, sir. No, sir.
Are we sure? Do we understand it? I will also go to page 2 so that I will look at it more again and play with it more. Are we sure we understand it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, so let me see. So let's go to first page and let's look at the CSS topic here too. Okay, so we now use CSS to do different things, right? We use it to do one, a navigation bar. You see when you go to a website and you see nav bar like this, the logo will be here. Then you see home, about, contact. You can use Flexbox to do that. So as you can see, this is the nav bar, Flexbox nav bar here, which is this one. Now this nav is a is a is one of those elements, right? Like div, like section, right? Shows nav bar, right? But if you do not style it, let me just spoil the style so that you see. If you do not style it, it's just going to scatter. So you see, just going to scatter, right? But let me change it back. So flex nav bar, then logo will be here. So you can put an image inside of here. Then div now have your anchor element that leads somewhere. The home, about, and contact page. I can also add other things like support and FAQ. You can see the way it's just arranging as if that's how it's supposed to be. But because the style is already there, it's just going to arrange itself like an actual nav bar. So how did we do this? Now let's go to the style. So for the style for nav bar, we're looking for flex nav bar and div. So let's go to the beginning. So this is the style. Flex nav bar. Remember we said we use display flex. Now see justify content space between, right? So space between the logo and this other part. Now the reason why this space between is working is because we divided the two. Remember when I say div is used for division. So it's now seeing the anchor tag as one part and this other part as another part because there's a division there with a div. So it's now seeing it as two elements. One element is on the left, which is this logo. The other element is on the right. Now, if I change that space between to space around, you see that they will come inside a bit. Can you see? They came inside. If I change it to space evenly, you see, they came inside even more. But I want space between, which means they should stay at the end. Then align items center is used for aligning the items to the center of the, as you can see, center of the flex box. So it shifted up a bit, it come back down. So it stays in the center, right? Okay, the background is the background, padding is padding. Now, do you understand why this padding is like this? all the padding we've been doing since is what's it called? Is one number, but this one is two number. Do we understand? If you don't understand, just say you don't understand. I will explain.
You don't understand.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. Just if you don't understand something, just ask. You get. So just say that you don't understand, then I will explain. So padding can be just one and it will work. It can be two and it will work. It can be three and it will work. It can be four and it will work. Right? Now the difference between 1, 2, 3, and 4, I will explain now. So for 4 is top, right, bottom, left. So you go clockwise. Padding on the top, padding on the right, padding on the bottom, padding on the left. So you see that bottom is bigger because bottom is 20. That's if you do 4. Now, if you do 3, is what's 3 steps? I forgot it now. Give me a second. Uh, 3 is okay, yeah. 3 is top, left and right, bottom. That means top, left and right, then bottom, right? So if I change this left and right now to 100, you see that they will go inside. Shall you see? If I change bottom to 100, it will go down, basically. So that's 3, right? So top, left and right, bottom. If I do 2, 2 is top and bottom, left and right. So let's show you top and bottom. You see, left and right. You see, so that's 2. Then 1 is top, bottom, left, right. Like this same number, we use it for everything all around. So if I do like this, 50, to do the same thing all around. Understand? So that's why we have. So it's the same thing for margin. You can do the same thing for margin. It's called shorthand or shortcut. Do you understand now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you can play around with it and see. 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's no 5. It's just 1, 2, 3, and 4. So for 1 is all round. For 2 is top and bottom, left and right. For 3 is top, left and right, bottom. For 4 is top, right, bottom, left. Clockwise, like a clock for 4. All right, so in the flex nav bar, so this one is styling the anchor tab. That's this anchor tab here. Right? So it's saying the anchor tag that is inside the flex nav bar. So if you go down inside, you see this anchor tag here. This anchor tag that is inside the flex nav bar. So all the anchor tags that is inside the flex nav bar, that's what it's styling. So if I put an anchor tag outside here and say test, it will not style it. You see that it's not white. But if I carry that anchor tag and put it inside here, it will style it. See, it's white, looking like the other one. So all anchor tags inside the flex nav bar is what is styling here. Styling it as white, no decoration, no, then there should be padding. Understand? Now the flex card, I think the flex card is that this bottom layout, right? So that's this flex card, right? So these flex cards have their own style and they have cards under it. So let's go and check their style. For the flex card, you also need a display flex. See it here. You also need a display flex. A flex wrap It means that everything that you want to do inside our flex should be wrapped inside our flex. You should not overspill. Then a gap of 15 in between. That's this white space. Then the card itself, we give them a purple color, then a white text, then padding of 20, which is all round, border radius of 8, which we are not seeing because it's the same color. Then flex 1, which means it should grow and shrink, and then the basis should be 200 pixels. That means it should be at least 200 pixels. So now let's see. So you see that it's now jumping, right? Because the reason is because of this 200 pixels. If I remove it and just put flex 1, you see that it did not change. Just stay here. But if I say it should grow and shrink, and the smallest size it should get to is 200 pixels, then it will arrange to 200 pixels, as you can see. So the smallest size to get to before it falls down. So that here it falls down 1, right? So these are other styles that you can now use in your Flexbox, and it's just arrange it. So now it's not that everything that you want to put inside your Flexbox must be card 1. Oh. You can put different things inside. So I can put, let me just put text, lorem. I put lorem here. Let me put another lorem here. I'm just putting fake text. I'll put another one in the middle. Let me put another one at the end. As you can see, I'll put fake text. Now I can also put images. Then I need to put the image inside the cards. I can also put images. So let me just get an image online. Let me just get this one and put it here. I'll just put the URL. I don't have to download it. I'll just put the URL and see. Can you see? The image is just there in the content. I can do the same for all the other ones. I'll just put the image in all the other ones. And if you notice, it still be adjusting properly. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, because that's the highest size. Oh, okay. I guess. Okay. So as you can see, going to be adjusting properly. So that's what Flexbox. Do we have any questions? Do we have any questions?
Yes, sir. Please, hey, sorry. Can you repeat that last part? My network was disturbing me. That box where there's pictures.
Oh, okay. I just added pictures to the Flexbox to show you that it's not just card 1, card 2, card 3 that you can put in the Flexbox. Remember before it was just card 1, card 2, card 3. Oh, let me just bring it to the side. It was just card 1, card 2, card 3 that was inside. Let me go back. It was just like this. So I was saying that it's not just only card 1, card 2. You can put content inside if you want. So I was just adding little content. Understand? So I was just adding little content. And I also said that our image, you don't have to download it. You can just go online and copy the URL of an image. So let me just copy this one. Oh, sorry, I didn't copy it. Yeah, let me copy this one. All right, so now you see that all the images are showing. So it's now looking like a website, right? So that's what Flexbox does. It helps you to do this. Flexbox helps you to do this very easily, just by doing about 4 or 5 things. One of which is display flex. Sorry about that. One of which is display flex. Display flex. Let's go back up. Um, display flex. Another is the spike content, which helps you arrange it. Another is align items. Another is flex wrap. Another is gap. Another is flex, right? So all of these things would help your website look very beautiful. If you can organize the HTML and the CSS, and it will look very beautiful. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
All right, awesome. So now let's go to page 3 and see what we have here. So for page 3, we have the different types. You see, this one now, let me now ask questions. Is this um, flex start or flex end?
So please repeat the question.
Is this flex start or flex end? We, we don't know. So it's flex start. Let me change to flex end so that you see the difference. Flex end goes to the end. Flex start, flex start goes to the start, right? For justified content. Now, flex center stays in the center. Space between, create space in between. So they start from the beginning and end, and space in between. Space around, create space all around. All the space will be even. Now, this is row, right? If I change it to row reverse, what will it show?
It will be in like straight line.
Row reverse would show 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Column is the one that will be in straight line. This is column. Then column reverse will be in 3, 2, 1. 3, 3, 2, 1. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I want us to remember those things. This week that you are entering, I'll drop this file in this particular one. I'll drop it in the group, or no, I'll drop it on Google Classroom. I'll drop it on Google Classroom as resource. So you guys can go and play with it. Then just be changing the flex and everything so that we see what it is. Then you can now build your own. And I'll drop assignments so that by the end of this week, before our next class, where we'll be doing grid and the rest of them, you are able to know flex very well. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, awesome. So this is centered, is centered. This one is space, um, space between because it's starting from the end and getting to the end. So there's space between. So you use justify content space between. This one is flex wrap and flex one. Let me show you. This flex wrap, where is flex wrap? Flex wrap, and then flex one with size. That's this one. So it now starts going down when you start changing it. Then this one is to grow, and this one is static. So this one will not grow, but just will be growing. So you see the CSS style in the code that I will drop. We'll talk about grids in our next class and positioning. So do we have any questions before we call it a day?
No question.
Austin, do you have any questions?
No, sir, I don't have any question.
All right, so that means I will expect you people to submit your assignment latest Friday. I'll drop the assignment on Monday and I'll tell you, and the resource, I'll drop the resource later today. And I'll tell you where to get the assignments. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for joining the class. See you and have a nice day.